By the age of 18, a Catholic schoolgirl in 1940 knew things a 30-year-old Harvard graduate today couldn't begin to understand. No student loans, no therapy bills. Just quiet, iron-strong women built by nuns in black habits. Here are 25 forgotten lessons they taught. Number 1. Handwriting in 5 different styles. A girl in 1940 didn't just learn cursive. She learned 5 distinct hands. One for formal letters to a bishop, one for warm letters to family, one for business correspondence, one for thank you notes, and one for personal diaries. The nuns believed your handwriting was your face on paper. Sloppy script meant a sloppy soul. Today, most college graduates can barely sign their own name. Back then, a girl's letter could open doors before she ever walked through them. Number 2. The envelope budgeting system. Long before TikTok influencers called it a new discovery, nuns taught girls to divide every dollar into labeled envelopes. Groceries, rent, charity, Sunday clothes, emergency. When the envelope was empty, spending stopped. No credit cards, no overdraft fees, no shame either, because every penny had a purpose. Girls graduated from convent schools knowing how to run a household on almost nothing. Today, families earning 6 figures drown in debt. Back then, widows raised 8 children on envelopes and prayer. Number 3. Sewing, mending, and remaking clothes. A Catholic schoolgirl could build a 10-year wardrobe from just 5 dresses. She learned to turn a collar when it frayed, to let down a hem as she grew, to patch invisibly, to transform her mother's old coat into her own Sunday best. Fashion wasn't bought, it was made. Today, women spend thousands a year on fast fashion that falls apart in 3 washes. A girl from 1940 would look at our closets and ask, why do you own so much and value so little? Number 4. 14 rules of table etiquette. The nuns drilled them in until they were second nature. Napkin in lap before the first bite. Elbows off the table. Pass to the right. Never reach across. Hold the fork properly. Don't speak with food in your mouth. Today, grown men in business meetings break half these rules without knowing. A girl from a Catholic school in 1940 could dine with a senator or a farmer and make both feel respected. Manners weren't snobbery, they were the language of dignity. Number 5. Basic home nursing. Every Catholic schoolgirl learned to care for the sick. How to take a temperature properly. How to make a mustard plaster for a cough. How to change a bandage without infection. How to feed broth to someone too weak to sit up. When the flu hit, when grandmother fell ill, when a brother came home wounded, she was ready. Today we panic and rush to urgent care for a fever. Back then, the family had a nurse under its own roof, and she was 16 years old. Number 6. Reading classics aloud with proper pronunciation. The nuns made girls read Dickens, Austen, Shakespeare, and the lives of the saints out loud, every single day. Voice clear, pace steady, every word pronounced correctly. By graduation, a girl could read to her children, to her ailing parents, to a parish gathering with the confidence of an actress. Today, college graduates mumble through emails. Back then, a 16-year-old could hold a room spellbound just by reading a chapter of a novel by candlelight. Number 7. At least one musical instrument. Piano, violin, or organ. The nuns insisted every girl learn one. Not for a career, not for applause. For the home. Music after dinner. Hymns on Sunday. A lullaby for a crying baby. A song to lift a tired husband's spirits. Today, music comes from a speaker, soulless and constant. Back then, a girl could sit at a piano and turn an ordinary evening into a memory her grandchildren would still talk about 60 years later. Number 8. A garden of 20 healing herbs. Chamomile for sleep, sage for sore throats, peppermint for digestion, lavender for nerves, thyme for coughs, yarrow to stop bleeding. The convent gardens were living pharmacies, and every girl learned which plant did what. She left school knowing how to soothe a colicky baby, calm a fevered child, and ease an old man's joints. Today we run to the drugstore for a $15 bottle of something that grew free in our great-grandmother's backyard. Number 9. Prayer as meditation. Long before psychiatrists prescribed pills for anxiety, the nuns taught girls the rosary, 15 minutes of slow, rhythmic prayer. breathing in, breathing out, focusing the mind on one beat at a time. It calmed the heart, ordered the thoughts, and gave a girl a quiet center she could return to in any storm. Today, mental health is a billion-dollar industry. Back then, a string of wooden beads and 20 minutes of silence did the same job, and it cost nothing. Number 10. Cooking without recipes. The nuns taught girls to cook by feel. A pinch of this, a handful of that. The weight of flour in the palm. The sound of butter sizzling at the right temperature. The smell of bread when it's done. By 18, a girl could open a near-empty pantry and feed a family of 10 with what she found. Today, people panic if they can't find an exact measurement online. Back then, a 16-year-old was the kitchen, no cookbook required. Number 11. Preserving and canning food. Every fall, the nuns taught girls to put up the harvest. Jars of tomatoes, pickled cucumbers, strawberry jam, apple butter. A well-stocked cellar meant a family ate well through the longest winter, no matter what the economy did. Today, one snowstorm empties the grocery shelves and people are eating peanut butter from a jar by day 3. A Catholic schoolgirl in 1940 had a pantry that could feed her family for 6 months without setting foot in a store. Number 12. Posture and bearing. The nuns watched every girl walk down the hallway, shoulders back, chin level, spine straight, hands quiet at her sides. A book balanced on the head was not a joke, it was a lesson. Good posture meant confidence, health, and respect. Today, we slump over phones until our necks ache and our spines curve. A girl from 1940 walked into a room and people noticed before she said a word. Bearing was the first language she spoke. Number 13. Caring for infants and toddlers. Long before she had her own children, a Catholic schoolgirl knew how to swaddle a newborn, soothe a colicky baby, mix safe formula, and recognize the signs of illness. The nuns brought babies in from the parish for practice. Today, new mothers turn to Google at 3 a.m. in tears, terrified and alone. Back then, a 17-year-old could walk into any home and confidently take charge of a sick infant while the mother slept for the first time in days. Number 14. Discretion and the holding of confidences. The nuns drilled this hard. What was said in confidence stayed in confidence. A girl did not gossip, she did not repeat family troubles in the street, she did not air a friend's secrets for attention. Today, every personal detail ends up on social media before dinner. Back then, a Catholic schoolgirl was a vault. People trusted her with their hardest truths because they knew those truths would die with her if she chose. That trust built lifelong friendships. Number 15. Latin and one modern language. By graduation, a girl could read the Mass in Latin and hold a basic conversation in French, Spanish, or Italian. The nuns believed a closed mind was a small mind. Today, most college graduates struggle to spell in English. Back then, a 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl could greet an immigrant in her own language, comfort a dying soldier in his, and pray in the ancient tongue of the church. Her world was bigger than her zip code. That was no accident. Number 16. Polishing, cleaning, and keeping a home. The nuns taught girls that a clean home was a peaceful home, how to wax wood floors so they shone, how to launder linens white as snow, how to scrub a stove until it looked new, how to make a small house feel like a palace. Today, people pay strangers to do what they were never taught. Back then, a girl took pride in a gleaming kitchen. The work itself was prayer, and the home she built became the soul of the family. Number 17. Letter writing for every occasion. Condolence notes after a death. Congratulations on a birth. Thank you letters within 3 days of any gift. Letters to soldiers overseas. Letters to estranged relatives at Christmas. The nuns made girls memorize the formats and practice until each one was perfect. Today, a text message passes for sympathy. Back then, a handwritten condolence note on cream stationery could heal a grieving widow's heart more than any therapist. Words on paper carried weight that words on screens never will. Number 18. Modesty without shame. The nuns taught that modesty was not hiding the body, it was honoring it. A girl learned to dress in a way that made men respect her mind first. Today, young women are told modesty is oppression, while struggling with anxiety, eating disorders, and loneliness at record highs. Back then, a Catholic schoolgirl walked through the world covered, calm, and confident. She was not less attractive, she was more powerful. Men opened doors for her. Other women trusted her. She owned the room without performing for it. Number 19. Managing servants, helpers, and difficult people. Even modest households sometimes had a hired girl, a washerwoman, or an aging relative living in. The nuns taught firmness with kindness, clear expectations without cruelty, gratitude without weakness. Today, people scream at customer service and cry in management meetings. Back then, a 19-year-old could run a household staff, mediate a quarrel between her mother and her aunt, and have everyone leaving the room feeling respected. That skill is called leadership. Most MBAs still don't teach it. Number 20. Saving for the future without a bank. The nuns taught girls to hide a little money in 3 places. The household envelope, a savings tin in the cupboard, and a small account at the parish credit union, never all in one place, never spent on whims, always growing quietly. Today, families spend every dollar the day it lands. Back then, a girl entered marriage with a small stash of her own, untouched, just in case. That little tin of coins gave women a quiet power. Independence was hidden, but it was real. Number 21. Singing in harmony. Every Catholic schoolgirl sang in the choir. She learned soprano, alto, tenor lines, and how to blend her voice with others rather than dominate. The lesson went beyond music. It taught humility, teamwork, and the beauty of being part of something larger than herself. Today, everyone wants to be a solo artist on Instagram. Back then, a girl knew the deepest joy was when many voices became one. That principle ran through her marriage, her parish, and her family for the rest of her life. Number 22. Caring for the dying. The nuns did not hide death from girls. They taught them to sit with the dying, to hold a trembling hand, to moisten dry lips with a damp cloth, to pray quietly so the soul could pass in peace. Today, we ship our elderly to facilities and avoid the room. Back then, a 17-year-old could keep watch through the long final night, give her grandfather a dignified death at home, and walk out the next morning steady, sad, and stronger than she had ever been. Number 23. Self-defense of the spirit. The nuns taught girls how to recognize manipulation, a man's flattering tongue, a friend's subtle cruelty, a salesman's pressure. They studied saints who refused kings and martyrs who refused mobs. A girl left school with a backbone of steel wrapped in silk. Today, young women are told to be endlessly agreeable, then wonder why they feel used. Back then, a Catholic schoolgirl could smile politely and say no and mean it. Her no was final, and the world respected her for it. Number 24. Hospitality on short notice. A guest at the door was never an inconvenience. The nuns taught girls to set an extra place, brew a fresh pot of coffee, slice the cake meant for tomorrow, and welcome anyone in from the cold within 5 minutes. Today, people apologize for an unmade pillow before letting friends in. Back then, a home was open. A girl knew the table could always stretch. That hospitality built communities so strong that no one in the parish ever truly went hungry or unwelcome. Number 25. A clear sense of purpose. Above everything, the nuns taught a girl who she was and why she was here. Not to chase trends, not to compete with men, not to drown in debt for a paper diploma, but to build a family, a community, and a soul that could stand before God unashamed. Today, young women graduate at 22 unsure of everything. Back then, a 16-year-old knew exactly who she was. That certainty gave her a strength no degree, no salary, and no algorithm could ever match. They graduated women ready for life. Today, we graduate women ready for debt. The nuns of 1940 are gone, but their lessons remain, waiting for anyone willing to listen. If this video stirred something in you, subscribe and stay with us. We are quietly bringing back the forgotten wisdom of an America that knew how to raise strong, capable, faithful women, one lost lesson at a time.